Hey everybody, my name's Tim, and I'm here representing Group B with Noah, Whit, and Molly, and we're going to be talking about increased energy efficiency in local public schools. Think about some of the things you do in the morning. What do you think of? You might think of taking a shower, eating some breakfast, and some of you might be thinking about taking your kids to school. Where we live in Wake County, there are roughly 200 public schools. What do you think these schools need? Well, they might need water, they might need food, but they especially need energy. Schools consume massive amounts of energy daily to sustain operation. They have to make hundreds of meals or meals for hundreds of kids. They have to keep the area temperature controlled with HVAC systems. They have to keep the lights on and also have to power all of the computers and electronics that are used within the school. And let me tell you, this energy is certainly not cheap. It is certainly not free either. That is the first issue. Power is not free. It costs roughly $14.4 million to run Wake County schools annually. That is a lot of money. Some of us will not see that in our lifetime, which is crazy. It is necessary to spend $14.4 million, but imagine if it could go somewhere else. Imagine if it could go to the student programs that are lacking. Imagine if it could go to teachers' salaries, which are also lacking. And imagine if they could upgrade facilities with that money. Also, think about the issues surrounding energy nowadays. Think about global warming, deforestation for power plants, and so many more things. Imagine if there was some way that we can have an impact on that issue as well.
Many public schools, including Wake County, struggle with increase. We want to introduce an eco-friendly alternative for energy in local public schools. Those are a great option because they can free up budgets and also reduce air pollutants. Alternatively, wind turbines can be used in place of solar panels depending on the typical environmental conditions of the area. Public schools serve as an important part of the community because many children are educated in these facilities and also spend a lot of time in these buildings. Schools require a much larger amount of funding than they typically receive. Therefore, it's imperative that schools get adequate funding to continue operating full capacity safely and maintaining healthy conditions. Unfortunately, many schools throughout the nation, especially in low and moderate income communities, receive low budgets, resulting in schools cutting corners to cover necessary expenses. Therefore, it's important for schools to use this money for power and materials in the classroom, but the infrastructure in the buildings are often pushed aside due to high upfront costs. Unfortunately, schools also run into the issue of federal funding, where it's difficult for faculty to keep up with strict deadlines and meet certain requirements. And this continues to be an issue even with federal funding opportunities increasing. Unfortunately, faculty members may not receive funding or may avoid the process altogether. According to a 2018 survey, as seen in the diagram, educational facilities such as K-12 schools and post-secondary colleges and universities rank second in using the most energy in commercial buildings throughout the US, using over 300 trillion British thermal units, which is equivalent to like 8.79 billion kilowatt hours, and that's a lot.
We propose two renewable energy solutions, rooftop solar panels and micro wind turbines. Each has specific benefits and considerations based on local environmental conditions. Wake County is a massive school district, which means unique solutions are necessary to implement renewable energy at the school successfully. Solar panels on school rooftops provide major advantages. Federal and state incentives are available, significantly reducing the substantial reductions in electricity expenses, and schools can significantly reduce their carbon footprint. Solar panels serve as an excellent educational tool for students for renewable energy lessons. However, solar panels also present certain challenges. The initial investment is expensive. Efficiency heavily depends on sunlight availability and can be reduced by adverse weather shading. Ideal schools for solar installations include schools with large flat rooftops and minimal shading from surrounding structures. Currently, there is strong evidence from Stanford University that rooftop solar panels could cover up to 75% of a school's electricity needs, reducing the carbon footprint of the education sector by as much as 28%. Micro wind turbines offer several advantages. Effective alternative for schools with limited sunlight. Maintenance provides employment opportunities benefiting the local economy. Minimal ground space required, which is suitable for schools with limited land availability. However, wind turbines have notable disadvantages. Noise pollution might impact nearby homes and businesses. Energy output significantly varies with wind conditions. Regular maintenance is required, increasing long-term costs, and there are potential risks to wildlife, especially birds. Ideal locations include open fields or hills, away from significant obstacles like buildings or trees.
For our Solution 1 schedule, to install solar panels, we'll first need to identify target schools and locations before ordering equipment and beginning installation. Vendor selection to create contracts with solar vendors, site selection to choose school locations, funding strategy to confirm long-term funding sources, procurement of solar panels, inverters, and mounts, prepping rooftops as well as installing the systems to then integrate before final checks is how we plan to implement our solar systems. Since wind turbines require land that may not be owned by the district, location planning must be completed before procurement. After we've secured the land, we can do vendor research to secure the suppliers, assess wind viability, and make contracts before applying for zoning, safety, and environmental permits, to then order the turbines, towers, inverters, and controllers, to then begin site prep, to pour foundations, erect towers, prepare electrical access, and then install the turbines before integrating the systems into the school energy systems so we can begin testing to hand over to begin operations. Our Solution 1 budget includes many additional components that go beyond just the panels. While we do need to order physical tools such as inverters, mounts, and wiring, other elements such as labor and permits are essential for safe and efficient operations. These items will support the system's performance and ensure long-term reliability. Our Solution 2 budget for our micro also include costs that go beyond the turbine itself. Additional expenses, inverters, wiring, permitting, and maintenance, which are all essential for stable long-term performance, especially with areas changing wind conditions.
Renewable energy implementation is financially beneficial, environmentally responsible, and creates powerful educational experiences. Once implemented across Wake County, the money saved can be allocated in different areas to improve the educational environment, like teacher salaries, which currently rank 43rd in the nation.
Any questions? Here are our
No.
sources.